All right, so now our eyes are all complete and it is time to move on to the face. All of the face brushes start with the letter F and they are numbered in order, so all you have to do is follow the system. Now I know standing right next to E7 is F2, and F2 of course is not F1, so we gotta go back and find F1, which was the first brush that we used. Now F1, as you can see, it says apply corrector, and it also says apply concealer. So I'm gonna start off by applying my corrector. I'm gonna use the flat side just to get that initial application down. And then I'll use the fluffy side to buff it in and soften it. This is just going to help me get a nice, natural, and even skin tone. And that's what we want so that we can look flawless in our pictures. Don't forget to make sure that you put your brushes right back where they belong. And we're gonna move on now to F2. F2 specifically says to press in foundation, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. You can apply your foundation directly to your skin, just like that, or you can apply it directly to the brush. You want to use a pressing motion so that you can get an airbrush-like finish. If you apply corrector on your face or anywhere that you experience any hyperpigmentation and you use a swiping motion, you're gonna move the corrector side to side. And we don't wanna move the corrector from side to side. We want it to stay in place. So we use a pressing motion to keep that corrector in place and to also get a buffed and airbrush finish. I'm going to place F2 right back in its holder and I'm gonna move on to F3. F3 is for blending. So the next step, we're gonna put down our concealer. We love a good snatched beat. Even if it is a basic beat, we wanna look snatched and put together. So I'm gonna take F3 and I'm gonna tap in all of those places where I added concealer. So when I was creating this brush, I was thinking about all of the times that I went out of town and I forgot my beauty blending sponge. And I had no brush to compensate for the sponge. And so I wanted a brush that would be capable enough to blend out the concealer flawlessly. And so as I use a tapping motion, this brush is shaped perfectly to get into the corner of my eyes. And it's also shaped perfectly to get a fantastic and flawless blend. Now remember when I told you about bouncing back to previous brushes? Right now what I'm going to do is bounce back to F2, which was my foundation brush, and I want to just secure the blend. I want to make sure that everything is blended before I even set. I'm going to use F3 again to set my face with powder, but I just want to make sure that that blend is on point before I do so. So now I'm hopping back in with F3 just to make sure everything is nice, flawless, and blended. So I've used one side of the brush. Now I want to use the other side, and what I'm going to do is use that to pick up my translucent powder so that I can set my makeup properly. I'm going to grab some powder, tap it off, and I'm going to take my time and just really press in all of those highlighted areas where I put concealer. Staying organized is the goal, and we want to put F3 right back where it belongs. And then I'm going to jump to F4, which is the contour and blush brush. Now I am going to use the tip of this brush to grab my contour powder. The tip of the brush is here. And so when I'm using the tip of the brush, it allows me to get in a more tighter space so that I can sculpt if I need to, or bronze properly if I need to. I usually use contour and bronze, both of those terms interchangeably. So this brush has a dual function. I love a multi-purpose brush. So not only can you contour with this brush, you can also pick up your blush. Now I know for a fact that there are some of you who are just anti-blush, and that's okay too. So for my girls who do want to try blush, do want to apply blush, we are going to use this brush to do so. This time we're going to focus on using the side of the brush. So here I'm grabbing the little product and I'm just gonna lightly sweep it along my cheek. A nice flush of color will do the trick every time. So now that we're done with our contour, we're done with our blush, we're gonna put that brush right back in its proper spot, and we're gonna move to F5, which is the nose and eye contour brush. This absolutely is my favorite brush. And I'm gonna first contour my nose, and then we'll talk about what contouring your eyes even means. Contouring your nose can go real wrong real fast, so make sure that you apply lightly and slowly. I'm gonna take some contour powder, tap it on my hand just a little bit, and I'm going to contour the sides of my nose. Everybody is not a contour person, and it's absolutely your preference. But me personally, I like a little snatched nose now. Now this brush fits perfectly on the side of the nose. In addition, you can also contour your eyes. However, we've already done our eyeshadow, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. But just in case you were only using the brushes that started with the letter F in order to create a basic beat, then you will also use this brush as your transition. When we use that in the crease of the eye, it contours the eyes and gives it a lot of shape by just using your contour powder. Now we're done with F5. We are going to put that back into its holder, and we'll move on to F6. Now F6 is the all over powder brush. I'm really proud of this brush because it's perfect to just lightly sweep over your entire face. Now, why would I put F6 inside of the bunch as number 6 in the crew? because sometimes you can overdo your contour, sometimes you can overdo your blush, your nose contour. There's something that you might overdo as a beginner, and this brush just helps to clean it all up. I'm gonna sweep through and I'm gonna go all over. I'm gonna do exactly what the brush says and just go all over. Underneath my eyes, I use it's almost like my hand is shaking. It gives me more of a patting motion, but I definitely wanna go under my eyes and all over my face, soften down any harsh contour. If you put on too much blush, then this is the perfect time to just soften everything down. I like to call this my top coat. Remember that you can always bounce back to a brush previously, just in case you want to add more blush, more contour to your face that may have been moved or softened with this brush. So it's all up to you, but just remember that this is a guide and you can always bounce back. Now to the final brush, which is F7. That is the Cheek Shimmer Highlight Brush. All you have to do is take your favorite highlighter, use this brush to grab some of their product, sweep it along your cheeks just to get a nice soft glow. Now you don't have to bathe in it, sis. Just to get a nice soft glow. I like to add just a nice little tint to my nose, the center of my eyes, and then you are complete with the brushes. Give me 2 seconds to come back and finish my lips and mascara, and I can't wait to see how your face turned out too. All right, you guys, so I have added my mascara. I've added a little lipstick, a little lip gloss on top, and I am so excited to see how you look. So tag me on social media @MatterBrushes, and I cannot wait to see how flawless you are.